Right, hi, welcome back. The fuselage is drying nicely. I've got a little bit of clean up. I'm just going to leave that a little while to go really hard. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is get some of our payload sorted. And, oops, didn't mean to pull that off there. And go from there. Now, I managed to just pull it off the sprue, but normally I hold them on the sprue. I just picked that up wrong. Now what I'm going to do is show you how I get the little rings on the end of the bombs, and we'll do the anti-radiation missiles at the same time. Now because I've done that, what I'm going to do is just show you how I generally hold these things. It's a little bit different than what I normally do, or would normally do with this, because I didn't really want to take it off the sprue, but hey ho. So I just need to find my pin vise, which is here. Now I know that they go up, I sit in, I would have thought something like that, which is rather strange. So I'm going to put them that way, show the fins shown below. Okay, so my way of doing it is to get your pin vise, find a good part which is going to be fairly hidden, and just drill. Drill it in like so. So you're basically drilling enough of a hole for a cocktail stick. There's plenty of hole there. You could do it on all of them if you wish. I've just done it on one because the others are fairly well mounted. And we get our cocktail stick, snip off the end and literally mount it just like that, and you're able to spray that without any issues. I could do it to all four of them. In fact, that's what I'm going to do, and when I've done them I'll come back. Right, I've now mounted all our loadout onto cocktail sticks. I drilled a hole before in our iron bombs, in actually where they join onto the pylons. Sorry, onto the pylons. So they're all done. I've also got our fuel tanks ready, because when we've got the primer out, we'll prime those at the same time. We're going to come in with Alt 302, which is the grey microfiller and primer, or primer and microfiller. We're not going to want a huge amount, just enough to get us primed up. I'd still like to use primer on everything that I do. It's very rare that I'll put any paintwork down on anything without primer. I do like having it around. I can sit up there for a moment. So all we're going to do is just prime all these bombs up. Being a little bit careful how you put it on. We're going to do the missiles as well. although we will paint those in white obviously for the colour that they are. Just like so. And of course our fuel tanks, which are a little bit obviously bigger. These will be painted in our undersurface colours, which I believe on this kit is just white. So I'm literally just going to lay the primer down nicely, and of course we're also checking on our seams, which hopefully the camera will pick that up, that we have no seam line, which is great. So what I'll do, I'll just prime all these parts up, then I'll come back. Okay, right, so our bombs have been painted for about 5 minutes with primer. They're drying, or they've dried nicely, and I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to get the yellow banding on the end. So the first thing you're going to need is your yellow. I'm using ALCE 606 from Alclad 2 in their mil-spec range, just for now, because we only want a yellow. It doesn't have to be perfect. So quickly tip some into the cup. We don't want a lot. I made a bit of a mess. Check our flow, which is nice. And then what we're going to do is just paint, airbrush just the ends. Like so. Starting a bit heavy there, hey-ho. And join it all up. Let that dry. And the next one. Like so. Again, let that dry off. The bombs come loose. Nicely, nicely. And literally just spray it around, not being too pedantic. At the end of the day it's going to be covered over. We'll let that dry off. What we'll do, clean the airbrush off and we'll come back. Okay, right, they've had 5 minutes just to dry off. Now, this is the trick for painting these. Get rid of all these down there. To get your band on, you'd have to be masking up very cleverly, or you do something silly or something clever. So what I've got is some O-rings, a mixture of sizes, which I've had since I started modelling, and it was one of the first tips that I picked up. So I'm just clearing them out. I'm going to get 4 of the O-rings out. Now, all we do with the O-ring, put them on the end of our bomb, wherever we get there, and then roll them on to exactly where you want the yellow ring. Just line them up so that you're happy. So all we're doing literally is putting the rubber ring, trying to get it to go, just like so. Right, so that's those. We put that in there. Now, the next thing is olive drab. Now don't go looking for this on the website because it's not available yet. It will be very, very soon. Just for our bombs. And I'll just put the lid on because we don't need too much. Then all we're going to do with our iron bombs, let's just check the flow. Nice. And all we're going to do from directly overhead is spray our bombs like so. Then we're going to set them into our flower arranging polystyrene or whatever it is. I can never remember the name of it. Just to let it dry off. That first one will be dry by the time I've got these guys done. So there, last one. So obviously the O-ring acts as a mask for what you're doing. Then we'll take this one out, which is the first one. Just give it a quick blow over just to make sure it's dry. It should be nearly dry by now. Just to blow over. Put that away. And then all we do is gently peel off our O-ring. And there you go. There's your yellow band. Looking quite nice on that one. And I'll unband those as we go, clean up the airbrush, and then come back with some white very shortly. Right, so after a day off yesterday, I'm happy with the way our Phantom has gone together. Pretty good so far, so that's okay. Everything's dry and everything's gone in, there's no gaps, it's very, very nicely put together. Not by me, but by Airfix. There are one or two, I've got a little bit of filling to do at the gap for the wing join, but apart from that, really, really happy so far. And certainly looks like a British Navy Phantom to me. Right, so next job, we've got the rest of the parts we need for the build off the sprues or on sprues when we can paint them separately. We're going to use the full kit canopy as a mask, and we've already checked it, it fits perfect. So we'll put a little bit of white glue on that, put that down. First of all, we've got combing to go on the front of the instruments and everything else, or sorry, on top of the instruments. We've got all the canopies to mask up because they'll be sprayed separately, those 4 bits. We've got undercarriage doors, front undercarriage doors, which are painted actually in perspex in clear plastic, which is odd, but hey ho. So what I'll do, I'll clean them up and I'll come back for the rest of the part, putting it together. Right, so we're all set. Parts are all ready, cleaned up, ready to go on the Phantom. The Phantom, as I said, is clean. We're all ready to run with that. Wheel wells will be whites, which is the main under the colour anyway. We've got red to go into the air brakes, red to go into the engine covers. So we'll do that. We're going to do it in a power down situation, so the flaps will be dropped. The flaps at the front of the wing won't be dropped because the parts to go on the end of the wings for the dehydral, the flaps section on those just wouldn't fit nicely and flush with the rest of the kit. So I've disposed of those. We're gone for ordinary outer wings. I know it's a powered down position, but I want to have it sitting ready. So that's that bit done. I've got all the underwing pylons, bomb stacks ready to go. The flaps are all ready to be glued on. We've got auxiliary intakes on the front of the nose to go on. We've got parts to go onto the rear of the clamshell. So we'll just clean those up as we see the parts. I missed a bit there. Got it there. So everything else is ready to go. We then got to mask up the canopy, get the head-up display in place, and we should be fairly happy and ready to run. So as we go on, first thing we'll do, bits and pieces everywhere, check our flap system, how well that's going to look. It's going to look nice. So we'll come in straight away with our extra thin, run it along, hold it in place for a few seconds, just like that. And that should hold nicely. Made a bit of a rod for my arm back now, but hey ho. The other flap section is ready to go on that side and pushes in nicely. Get our extra thin close and handy. We want a good join on this, so we hold that in nicely, like so. Our outer wing flaps, just checking how we can do this. We'll have them slightly raised above it. There's nothing for these to actually bind onto, so just be very careful. Lay them on, how they go, just like that, no problem. And these ones, again, plenty of glue. We want these to stick nice and hard the right way up with a bit of luck. Giving it the same angle just about as the other side, and again looking nice. We have parts for our nose, 1, 2, just working out which way they go, if there is a way. And all we're going to do, we're just going to put a little bit of glue into that. Pick up a part, check to make sure that part fits nicely, and just dab a little bit along the seam, so that will then take hold. And the other side, on just like so, checking that we look right, and a little tiny bit across the seam. The front panels of the wings, I had cleaned them up, that looks a little bit odd. So and we've got our aircraft with the flaps down. We need to use a little Tamiya stand. If we're going to do anything, just take them the rough parts off there. And check on our fit. And that's tight. For some reason, not sure why. It's just that end for some reason. It's actually gone in there reasonably well, but it's a bit springy, so we'll get a board file so it keeps a nice straight edge. I don't find it. There it is. And all we're going to do is just gently go along and hopefully, I just need to check something on this because quite easily I could have missed something. But it doesn't say. Check that side, see if it's a better fit. No, we'll come back to this side where we were. So we were right the first time. Now the fit is much better. Although she does look a little bit odd, so what we'll do, we'll get a little bit of super glue on the go, and that'll aid joining that without too much hassle. Don't want too much. We just want to be able to put this on, hold it in so that it fits nicely. The actual fit is nice and snug, it's just a bit springy. So we're just going to hold her in. Just until the super glue takes effect. And while that's doing that, we'll put some extra thin around the gap, hold it in. Just hold it there for a few seconds. What that extra thin does, it fills the gap as well, so it helps out a little bit. Right, check the other side. Keep an eye on this side that don't spring back, and that's tried to. So we'll come on this side now and check again. And again, we've just got that little tiny gap to mess about with, and I can't really see what's causing that issue, so we'll take a little bit off, and that's a lot better. Okay, so little tiny bit of super glue, so I say just to hold it. Stop it springing. Tag it in. Hold. Make sure you got the how it looks right, and then glue in. Just like so. Everything just to look nice. Just like that. Okay, so look underneath, it's horrible. So we'll just hold it in, that's better. Making sure everything is correct, and that is. Lovely job. Put that to one side for a moment. Oop. Don't do what I just did, drop it off the stand. Okay, now the air brakes we want to paint red on the inside, white on the outside, and we're going to do all the red bits last, so we'll do our get it ready for our white to be painted down for the internal, or the lower colour I should say. We've got two parts here, parts of the pylons, and they can have a peg. Hold those up ready for painting, so we'll paint those separately. The instrument combing and part of the undercarriage can have a peg. Hold that up for painting again. Move the aircraft. We're going to tidy these up, I think, and fit them straight on our aircraft. I was going to, but I'm not going to for a reason. Now, we've got to mask off these two areas for painting. Mind you, that one isn't so bad, so I can get away with that. It's going to be red. So, sorry, I'm deep in thought here. I think what we'll do, we'll actually leave those off for now, or shall we? No, we'll put them on. Need to re-drill those holes slightly. So a little bit bigger drill. Just drill the holes just slightly. Drill bits in better days. Just clean that up slightly. Right. So we should just be able to drill these two holes out gently. That's it, and we'll go over that with a sander in a moment. Sorry for the quietness, I'm just concentrating. There we go. Not quite through. There we go. Okay, then come over just with just a gentle fine sand, just to get rid of the lifted parts. And again this side, like so. And then we can use our checking on which way they go round, excuse me again. They've got a lip on one side and not on the other, so just want to check the orientation. Right, so that goes outwards. Okay, so we got, as you can see, there's an orientation on these. You've got a little bit of a winglet which goes outwards. So getting them right, putting a little in of our glue in each hole. And then putting them on like so. Just so everything's held. Then again on this side. Somebody didn't clean it up properly. There we go. And then that can lay on there like so. A little bit of glue underneath everything, and that's ready. Okay, so they're all looking good now, so I'm happy. And just checking where they sit on the stand. That'll help the... In fact, what I could do is lift that stand up, I guess. No, we'll keep it flat. And they sit there nicely. So we've got our Phantom nearly ready to go. We've got some parts to go onto the clamshell. So we need to check which ways these go now, which is quite easy, and they seem to slot in quite nicely. And we'll put a drop of glue there, that'll hold it. And a little bit in there ready. We drop it on the floor, which is the usual thing I tend to do. So we've got our part. Checking the orientation because it's very difficult to see exactly. That one's in there nicely, and that one can go in there just like so. I'll drop a glue just to hold it. So that's that bit in. So far so good. Everything's looking really cool. We're going to leave this part open because we're going to mask that up and spray it red. Keeping careful with my pitot tubes. So the next thing to do is get some paint on some of the parts. Oh, hang on, we've got one more bit we can do now. Right, so the Phantom is all together, ready to go with some airbrushing. So we'll put that to one side. All we've got to do first is to mask our canopies. So I'm just going to get some masking tape. That's not a fresh one, I thought I had a fresh one, so I'll put a new fresh blade in our scalpel when I can find one. There we go. I always use number 10 blade. I always found them to be good. So get our blade out. Okay, so we're ready. Right, now this stuff is frog tape. It's a decorating masking tape, but I like it for doing what we do with models. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to line it up at the bottom of our front screen, so that looks really nice. I'm going to get a new cocktail stick and just go around the inside of the combing, or the framework, whatever you like to call it. And then with our new blade, I'm lucky enough to have another light here, so I'm going to put that down here. How that will affect the camera I don't know, but I can then get my blade into the right position and just gently following there the framework of our Phantom. The framework isn't too high, so you're going to have to be a little bit careful and just make sure we get it on like so. Push it down a bit, that's it, and then take it off. So that's our front part of the canopy done. Now there's no straight edge on this bit, so we'll just lay it on. Again, get our cocktail stick and pushing it in where it needs to go, following it right the way around, and we'll get our blade and we'll just follow the framework around again. And we're not pushing on this blade, all we're doing is cutting through our masking tape, just like so, and down. All we're going to do now is gently run it up the framework all the way at the edge. That's it. And as you can see, we get a nice clean edge. There we go. Take our bit off we just cut. That's it. So we've got that bit framed. That's fine. Come back to the other side. Rub it down so it's nice and tight in, so we can see exactly what we're doing. And getting our knife again to our corner and literally just follow around our framing, and then draw it all the way up there, all the way up, and just follow it nicely so we get the whole lot. And then hopefully when we take off the odd bit, we'll get a nice hard edge on the frame. Now I'm happy with that, so that can go ready to be sprayed. And what I'll do, I'm now going to do some more. I'll get them done, and then hopefully we can come back with the airbrush and go from there and start spraying it up.